And we're back on Mike Coscarelli Rules. I am very, very excited for my next two guests to join me on this segment. It's been a little while since we've done a true blue pop culture roundup. And I thought I had perhaps the two best people to bring on to talk about some of the stuff that's going on right now all over the internet and in the world of pop culture. They're two of my pals. They're comedians, they're podcasters, they're actors, directors, you name it. They do just about everything. Jessie Jolles and Chris Burns now join me. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Hello. Wow, what an entrance.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, what an entrance.
Same, what an entrance. Also, I can't get over like your hair right now, Mike. It's
Mine?
like,
Yeah, Mike is looking very good, right?
Mike, like anytime, Mike is like, he's fresh off the boat and he's like, I saw your arms at one point, you lifted them. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to a gun show. I mean,
woo, baby.
But yeah.
What?
This was the right decision. I knew having you guys on just for even just the sake of compliments to me was the right decision.
Yeah.
And now I fully, I'm so happy that I did it.
Ronnie, like we can't see Ronnie, but she's rolling her eyes like,
yeah, Ronnie's
loving this.
Ronnie, punch in on those arms.
Thank you guys for being here. How's your pandemic going? Jessie, I haven't seen you in a minute. Chris, obviously, we've talked a little more recently, but everybody's scattered all over the world.
Yeah. Okay. For me, yeah,
I said an inappropriate joke that I think went unheard.
Yeah, say it again. The Zoom clipped it.
Mike said we were texting recently. I said it was sexting mostly. But now that when everybody went silent, I was like, well, now the joke is no longer funny. It's inappropriate.
Wow. Yeah. I like that for both of you. I would ship you guys. I really would.
Thank you. If only.
Yeah.
If only. Yeah. I was with my parents for a little bit, as you know, any 32-year-old would, just to recenter and regroup. And then I was like, I do love my independence. I would like to come back. I came back promptly. You know, I lost my job almost immediately. And so now I'm just finding myself again. Who is she? Where is she? What will she do next? Rollerblade. So thank you.
Yes, Jessie was 5 minutes late because she was rollerblading.
It was more like 9 minutes, but I'm just saying.
What made you pick up rollerblading?
Okay, so I had a friend move into the building I live in, which is like unbelievable and perfect for a pandemic. And then I used to rollerblade as a kid. Like I played, roller hockey with my brother and my dad. And I was like, I can't bike, and biking really scares me because I do feel like I would get doored and I would die. But rollerblading, it's a little bit like snowboarding and skiing. I'm like, give me the thing with two legs where I get both for balance. I know it's not as cool, and I'm okay with that. And so, yes, I have been rollerblading, and I found this weird like rollerblading skating community that's kind of formed, I think, over COVID.
That's great.
I'm about to be the poster child. Thank you for asking. I always wear my wrist guards and my helmet.
No, the appropriate names for them, Mike. They're wrist guards.
Wrist guards. Okay, wrist guards. And when I'm trying to learn tricks or like how to go backwards and stuff, then I put on my knee pads and my elbow pads.
Love it. Beautiful. Yeah. Chris, you're in LA. How's that going?
Good. I've actually picked up rollerblading. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm in LA for a bit, just testing the waters. And it's something else right now. It's like kind of chilly here, and I did not pack appropriately.
Can I tell you, every time I go to LA, it's raining and it's cold. And then people are like, this is so rare for LA. And I'm like, it's every time I'm here.
Jessie brings it.
Yeah.
The rain cloud's like, we have to follow Jessie.
Yeah. That's depression,
Yeah, maybe they knew we were chatting today, so it just came in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I'm just living. I was in Albany for like a year, and now I'm just being a nomad.
Can you get more LA? People become more LA as they get out there and spend some time out there. Can you get more LA in a pandemic, or no? Are you still Albany to your core?
The thing, I'll always be Albany to my core. Listen, I was in New York City for the past 10 years, bitch, and she never shed any of that. Albany. Yeah, I think I'll be Albany to my core. I was telling Jessie that I'm like, I have yet to see anyone fatter than me here. I've been here for 2 weeks. Everyone is just like, looks like Dua Lipa, kind of.
Oh,
is the
wow.
vibe. Mike goes, oh yeah.
You know I love Dua Lipa. I have some
You
Dua Lipa
sick
stuff
son
coming
of
up
a
later.
bitch.
Oh, sweet.
What's so sick about that?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It's a joke, okay?
I forgot what those
You
are.
gotta let us know when you're joking, Chris. Okay, you gotta keep us updated.
I need to
I've
know when to
never-
laugh.
I've never said anything serious in my entire life. So I'll let you know when I'm saying something serious.
Yeah, that'll be easier.
But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, a lot of
You
people
don't
have
have a
been
car
like,
though. Famously, you don't have a car.
I don't have a car.
So think about that, Mike.
So
How are you
that
getting
does
around?
suck.
How is he getting around? How is he buying groceries?
I'm making it work. Just barely, but I'm kind of making it work.
He's going on like 3-mile hikes every day.
I mean, I'm walking to the grocery store for shit, but then also like I have friends. It's not like I don't know anybody here. So
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Well,
It's
I'm glad
working
you're
out.
hanging in there. Obviously, the sirens that I hear in the background must be coming from either me or Jessie's screen. I would think.
I think it's
'cause-
coming from Chris.
I think it's actually coming from me. Ironically.
Get out of here! God damn.
Yeah.
Why would you leave New York? You can't even escape the sirens outside
It's
your window.
actually
What the
been,
fuck?
this is like the quietest day I've had thus far because they're constantly doing goddamn construction, jackhammering the road. They're building like a fucking house next door. And the way LA is built, I mean, I think there's no building codes here. This is what it feels like. People just do whatever the hell they want. Looks
Yeah.
like they just like picked up a bunch of houses and trees and threw it in the air and let it land wherever it did.
Yeah. No, it doesn't seem like there's any autonomy at all. There, I think it's just the Annie Hall joke. You have like a Spanish house next to a German house next to a continental house. Those LA people are really, really losing it. All right, let's get into some of this pop culture stuff because there's a lot of things to talk about. We might not get to all of it anyway, but there's a lot of good stuff, and some of it is kind of particular to you guys, which is why I thought that it might be great to talk about some of it with you. I want to start off with Khloe Kardashian because this was one of the big stories that was going around the internet, going around some of the tabloids and stuff last week. But she posted a picture. It was a poolside photo of the reality star Khloe Kardashian. Began to circulate last week, but then it was also quickly disappearing off the internet after Kardashian exerted copyright powers to have it removed from posts across the internet. Kardashian, 36, addressed her desire to remove the photo in a post Thursday, expressing unbearable body image issues. So really, this is the picture that was going around was an untouched picture of Khloe Kardashian. And she just looked like a normal person. She didn't look really that much worse, that much better. She just looked like a normal person. And God forbid a Kardashian look like a normal person ever in their life. This thing had to get pulled down. The Kris Jenner mafia got to all these pictures. I think it's still also kind of hard to actually find the original picture that got posted. But this became this free-for-all issue because I guess Khloe Kardashian's apology, which was this long thing that she posted on her Twitter, in a couple of different pictures. It wasn't really enough for people. I guess it triggered a lot of people who have body image issues. And it's this vortex that got started because the Kardashians, in a lot of people's eyes, are very responsible for the culture around
around what they're complaining about. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So you have this dichotomy here where they're complaining about the fact that Khloe feels like she's being body shamed, but the Kardashians have made billions of dollars perpetuating this type of culture. So how do you guys feel about this generally overall? Do you take the Kardashians seriously?
I also think before we get into like the real nitty gritty here, we do need to mention that it was MJ, the grandmother, that posted it, and that everything legally has been them saying like MJ wants this down because like she's the technical owner of the photo.
Got it.
So it's very funny that like they have to be like, our 90-year-old grandmother wants that photo down. Because from what I've heard, I talked to someone who got like one of the cease and desists for their website, and it was like from MJ.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, well, like, no, very loosely. No friend of a friend.
Still, that's insane that there are people that actually got a cease and desist from the office of the Grandma Kardashian to
Yeah,
pull
because
something off
like
the internet.
legally, that's, I guess.
It's so sad. I think that like I forget how much they retouch their photos. Like I really do because I just don't expect people to do that. I like forget people are doing that, which is what I think is wrong with social media.
Mhm.
Is you forget because also they have great editors. Like you know, hats off to these editors because I believe it every time. And so it's unrealistic beauty standards because it isn't real, right? And
Right.
so then a picture of her looking great, it's like sad that that's embarrassing the way she looks. Like, I'm just like, she looks amazing. I don't know why. I mean, it's sad that, I mean, that's probably not her brand or whatever. Her brand is the
Well, I
unreal.
think the whole thing is like, as soon as the Kardashians look like normal people,
Right.
then they become
Lesser than.
normal people. So like, I think that that's kind of why they keep up this insane
Yeah.
thing, because they need to stay a step above all these people that are trying to get on their level.
Did you see the video she posted being like, no, this is my real body? And it's her like in underwear holding her boobs and then jumping. And I was like, the fact she jumped is an attack on
Yes, she was
anybody
like,
ever.
but the fact that she did all of this for this, I'm like, this is like insane. Just
Oh,
stop. Like, just if you just
let it
stop,
die.
then let it die. You know, that's like Beyonce never photos. This same thing. Remember around the Super Bowl when photos came out that people had taken of Beyonce like mid dancing,
Yeah,
when she looked like
the Hulk.
crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And her team like did the same thing and like got every photo off the internet that looked like that. But she never like said anything. She just like did it quietly. If you're gonna do something like that, that's how you do it. It's like you don't come out and be like, but look at my real body in a video. I'll hold up today's newspaper to show you that it's
Yeah.
like,
Right. You frame your grandmother and move on.
yeah, exactly.
Part of the difference with the Beyonce thing is also it's not that Beyonce image was not necessarily a body image picture.
Right.
That was just like a very awkward, ill-timed picture of her. It's not like it didn't look like Beyonce. It was just unflattering.
Right.
Whereas, so it's not like her trying to scrub those from the internet, although still quite a task.
Yeah.
It's not as embarrassing as somebody having their legitimate real body captured on a picture, which is something that you would do on vacation. Like if we were just like all hanging out at the pool, like without our shirts on or whatever, and like Chris took a picture of us like
and I would
beach ball or whatever, and there was a little bit of like flab hanging out, like we wouldn't sit there and retouch vacation photos. We just like put them on Instagram or whatever. But it's also, it says something about how people view Instagram and what they actually put out there.
Yeah, I think you guys would be amazed at how many people are doing exactly that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be amazed at all.
Sad. I think it's so sad because also her body dysmorphia is like, that's not what I look like for my image, but it's like that's so sad that what she looks like is upsetting to her and not what she's able to put out, you know, into the world. Right. That's sad.
It's literally the fact that she can't kind of deal with she doesn't look bad. But the standards that they've created, I guess by those standards, she looks bad. Because when you look like you were literally etched with a pencil, you know, like Chloe's people make her look like somebody else. Remember that the picture of like the nose job that was going around?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a new one of these like every day with Chloe. I think like, I don't know. I feel bad for her in the sense that like she's always been regarded as the ugly sister, and that's like kind of what she posts.
Chris, we lost you.
Chris. Chris.
What?
We lost you. We didn't hear any of that. The last thing I heard was ugly sister.
Yeah.
I forget what I was saying now.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the ugly sister. She thought she was the ugly sister, but now she's putting out an image that isn't her.
No. But it's not that she thought she was the ugly sister. It's that America, since
said
they've
it.
been famous, has been like, Chloe's the ugly sister. Chloe's the fat sister. Chloe's so ugly, she must have a different dad than the rest of them because,
Right.
like shit
Yeah.
like that. So that's why this poor bitch is like getting on Instagram Live, being like, "Look, it's my real body," but also a real body that it would be unattainable for somebody of our income bracket. And like,
Yeah.
she has, personal chefs and the whole
Trainer.
9 yards. So I feel sorry for her, but on the same note, it was kind of brought on upon her. But on the same note, they didn't realize what they were getting into probably when they got into that. It's like, who's to say?
It's a domino effect.
Do you think that this is something that could potentially like actually hurt the Kardashians at this point, or are they just Teflon? No.
If anything, MJ is going down.
Yeah.
MJ. She should
I
have
also
known
think
better.
like to say to hurt the Kardashians, like I don't think there's anything that'll like hurt them. Maybe people will hate them more, but they'll still be as famous.
It's kind of smart because they are like a group, you know what I mean? So because of that, even if you don't like one, the others will support the other people. And then it's like you can't touch it.
Yeah. It's like how they said, remember when Kim and Courtney were fighting and she's like, "Courtney, you are the least interesting to look at."
Yeah.
Like in the family, like obviously they have a standard because she's mad at her.
What's
for
the
being
standard? Who's the standard?
Kim and Kylie are, I think, the standard of the world. So
Courtney is so attractive, though. That's why, like even hearing that as a man, like who's not that much younger than them, like Courtney to me is the hot one, I think.
Wow.
Well,
so that's why it's
what
like
does
coming
that
from
say
Kim.
about
That's
you?
just patently false.
Maybe that means you like petite.
Is she petite? I haven't watched the show
the
enough.
most petite. Yeah, because Chloe would throw her around like a rag doll.
Mike's like, I'm simple. I like a very normal looking girl like Kourtney Kardashian.
Yeah.
I just like an
you,
18-inch waist, not too small.
Only eats vegan on Tuesdays and nothing throughout the week.
Why complicate it? Yeah. I don't see it. But don't you think that there's like, so a lot of the think pieces that are being written about this whole situation is that oh, this could have been a time for reflection and whatever. Are they adverse to good PR at this point? It seems like they do try to kind of avoid the responsible right thing at every turn. Because wouldn't a good PR person tell Chloe, like, lean into this, like don't scrub this shit from the internet. All right, you have an issue with your body, like the way it looks naturally, like I understand it because it goes against your brand, but like with the way that, for example, the Gen Z kids sort of view body image and view it's so different than even how we viewed things when we were kids, 10, 11 years old. That I think the bad body image stuff was still being hammered into, and I'm sure it still is to a degree, but it seems like the TikTok kids really care about being nice to each other, which is not, I
think
thing.
The new generation is very better. Like they're better than the rest of us. And I mean, because I think they've watched their parents and their like older siblings and cousins, which I feel like we would qualify under, like struggle and whatever, and now they're just like, who gives a shit about everything? Like I feel like they don't care if you're fat, they don't care if you're gay, they don't care about anything, which is great.
Right. So
it is great.
Doesn't the good PR person say, like, Chloe, like just fuck it, like this is gonna be so much better for you, there's gonna be no controversy.
Bet you there's definitely a PR person that's like, let's run into this full hearted, and she's like, I'll kill
shut
you,
up, Susan.
get this off the internet, I'll fire you, and say that it wasn't my body.
Yeah, they're like, who hired the fat marketing? Get her out of here.
Get her out.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm sure they're like, we could spin it, and she's like, I'm sure is not willing to
yeah, they're like, spin it in a time machine and get it off the fucking internet.
Yeah, yesterday.
All right, fair enough. Let's get off Chloe. Let's move on to something interesting here. The Rock for president. According to The Rock, he'll run if the people want it. So obviously this was kicked around for a while. I think sort of after the Trump era started, and this idea that hey, we could just have a president that's not a politician came about. People were really proposing that The Rock or Oprah or Kanye West or some of these people run for president. So on Monday, Dwayne The Rock Johnson said that he would run for U.S. president if he felt he had enough support from Americans. This is a quote. I do have that goal to unite our country, and I also feel that if this is what the people want, then I will do that. This is when he was asked about his presidential ambitions in an interview broadcast on the Today Show on Monday. Are you guys ready for the President The Rock?
The Rock is not going to be fucking president.
We need to stop taking people that we've seen on TV and think, oh, what if we put him behind a podium? Like that's, he could play the president in a movie or TV show. Sure. Not in my universe.
Yeah. I'm like, anyone that's like, well, if people want me to be president, I guess I'll be president. Is like, that's like, we're not selecting somebody to drive to the lake house. Okay. Like,
no, we're not.
I'm sick of famous people becoming fucking.
It just shows how little Americans kind of know and care about politics. That we're like, well, I don't know anybody running, but what about Oprah? Everybody knows Oprah. It's like, yeah, but Oprah doesn't know about the politics, the policies, everything that goes into place. Like Oprah isn't qualified for the job we're hiring for. Yeah. So let's look at the candidates, okay, who are qualified and make a decision based on that. You might actually have to read something and do research or just follow along with someone you trust their opinion.
Yeah, just listen to the smart people.
Listen to what Oprah says. Who's she voting for?
If you're thinking
Oprah's endorsement is better than her running, probably.
If you're thinking about voting for The Rock, I need you to go to your smartest friend and say, who are you voting for?
Exactly.
And then you vote for them. Okay, because The Rock, from WWE to the highest paid actor in Hollywood to president.
Don't forget, he was a college football player at Miami. The man has had a journey.
Concussions is what I'm hearing. The brain isn't fully there. We can't.
What about small government? What about it? What if The Rock was running for mayor of New York City? Are you more interested in that?
What's he doing?
He's too busy. I thought isn't he like filming
what does the mayor
Tooth Fairy
do?
2?
Huh?
Isn't he too busy filming like the Tooth Fairy 2 for $200 million or something?
I'm sure, but I mean, he'll fit it into his schedule.
No, that's somebody else who's his assistant or the VP, whoever, who's like, I'll just run under him and control everything. And that person, maybe. I don't want him in charge either. To put The Rock in front of him and hide behind? No, it's all a scam. Don't fall for it. Okay. We're not doing that. We can't do that.
Would you have been more open to something like this before Trump? Because this was I know this sounds ridiculous. The idea that the one of the most famous people in the world, definitely in the country, is sitting here saying, yeah, well, I'd kick it around. Maybe I'd think about it. I think about, but we said when Chris was like, The Rock's not going to be president. Every single person, there's like clips of people talking about Trump on like
no, but for different reasons. I think if the Rock ran, I don't think The Rock's going to run for president.
But do you think then, if he did, do you think that people might actually? Because listen, man.
Yes, because people are idiots.
Yeah,
we saw that happen.
The world's going to be over in like 7 years anyway. Might as well give him a go. Let's all run for president.
A part of me thinks that some of the people are like, yeah, but I saw The Rock in this movie where he was really smart and he fought off a lot of people. And it's like, that was the movie.
It's like how Schwarzenegger became governor of California. They were like, oh, Terminator.
Yeah. I mean, that is what Roger Stone in his documentary said about Trump, that he was like, it doesn't matter whether he was good at politics or knew anything about politics, but he had the image of being the guy on The Apprentice where he was in the high back chair. He looked presidential because he's making decisions, and the country got to see a guy who was, pulling the trigger and like doing things that I think a lot of people think of as presidential, and that really ended up fucking us, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have a Lady Gaga story. She was trending on Twitter because a fan recently created a change.org petition asking Gaga to release outtakes from her art pop sessions as a quote unquote act 2 to the album, prompted by the album's producer, DJ White Shadow, hinting at unreleased tracks like fan favorite T as an April Fool's joke, he later claimed. The petition, which now has over 40,000 signatures, led fans to trend the hashtag buy art pop pony tunes. What the fuck is this hashtag? Whatever. It was an art pop hashtag and got Lady Gaga's 4th album to the top 3 on the platform. So it's still on the top of the charts right now, which is crazy because it came out years ago. And
Wait,
Gaga's fans got, what'd you say?
It's on the top of what charts?
The iTunes charts.
The charts, Chris, the actual charts.
The whole
charts.
album?
Yeah.
The charts.
People
On
are
the
going
charts.
back and rebuying the album and supporting the album.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Oh, okay. You seem confused, which is why I thought I'd clarify.
I'm confused at who's doing that, but I'm...
The charts, Chris.
The charts.
No, Jessie, if you can name one art pop song.
Nah, I don't know any.
Thank you.
Okay.
Exactly my point. Nobody really does. Like,
So go ahead, Chris. I had a question, but you please just take the floor.
I'm obviously a big Lady Gaga fan, but to re-celebrate an album that quickly became known as art flop,
Wow.
it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, well, the reason why I thought I like Gaga a lot. I didn't.
Okay, Mike.
Was that a surprise?
No.
Oh.
Well, after Kourtney Kardashian, I wasn't sure.
I have interests all over the place, guys. And
I love
mean,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I'm
saw
zigging,
her-
I'm zagging.
Exactly right. I saw her at the Garden during the Monster Ball tour, and I used to work at a radio station. I wouldn't have gone to see her, but they gave me tickets to go, and it was like a Tuesday night. I was like, fuck it, whatever. I don't even really like her, but I'll go. And then I went, and I was like, oh man, she fucking rocks. Like the whole experience is one of the best concerts I've ever been to, hands down. It was great.
Wow.
And that kind of turned me into, I wouldn't say it, like, I'm sure Chris is a bigger Gaga fan than I am, because I don't know.
I'm sure
I
of that as well.
But the thing that I do really admire and like about her is that I think that like every album sort of she doesn't pick a new persona, because I don't think that that's quite what it is, but there's different phases of Lady Gaga where I don't think that other artists fully pull that off. The way that there's Monsters Ball Gaga, there's
well, she talks about like in her documentary and like in general how she is always growing and she doesn't want to be like Britney Spears, who like got famous at 16 and then was that person still to this day.
Yeah.
Which is rough once we know the Britney story, but sure.
But give me one song on art pop.
Wasn't
I don't know.
Born This Way is on this, isn't it? On that, isn't it?
No. Is it? No, it's not. Born This Way is on Born This Way.
Ronnie, could you check that, please?
I'm
just
positive
feel like
the album is called Born This Way.
Okay, why are you so mad?
Because Mike is fact checking with Ronnie what the album Born This Way is.
Okay.
Ronnie, why don't you go ahead, give me a fact check. What album is Born This Way on?
You can't tell
Born
Ronnie
This
what to
Way?
do. Ronnie's my employee, all right? I'll have her fact check. Ronnie, fact check that, please.
Yeah, Mike, it's Born This Way.
Shit. All right,
Hey,
well, Chris is
Ronnie!
right.
Seems like the 30-year-old gay man knew what the answer was.
She's kind of pivoted out of like more club music.
She pivoted for sure.
Well,
She's
she's
pivoted.
not, so like she did Joanne, whatever, and then all the homos were like, literally, everyone was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And she was like, everyone, and this is why she's talking about it in the documentary, because she's like, I feel like people are so disappointed, but I'm just trying to grow, whatever. But Chromatica is like super club everything. So it seems like she kind of went back to.
Mm-hmm.
But
her.
when you're single again, you go back to the clubs.
That's a great point.
So
That's a
it could
great
be,
point, Jessie.
Thank you. It could be like she was ready to retire, put her slippers on and just cuddle. And then she goes through a breakup and she says, okay, dim the lights, get me something, that's stronger than water, and let's hit the clubs.
She is dating someone though.
Pulled back in. She is seeing somebody though.
So let me ask you,
what is in the clubs?
What's your favorite version of Gaga? Is it Meet Dress Gaga? Is it is it the pre-Joanne? Is it Tony Bennett Gaga?
No, it is not Tony Bennett Gaga. Listen.
Is it Oscar performance Gaga?
No.
That's in there too.
See, these are all straight people Gagas. These are all people that are like not actual Gaga fans that would say any of these. No offense.
You're acting like Kourtney Kardashian right now.
Bitch, honey, please.
And I'm instantly more attracted to you.
Why? Because I'm the smartest one. Is that why I'm acting like Kourtney?
What?
Jessie, you're gonna have to follow up this joke. I just kind of tagged it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I'm the smartest one. I'm the only one that went to college. Did you know that about Kourtney?
I feel like you're just coming for us, is why I said Kourtney.
We're just trying to have fun here.
Kourtney's always like, I don't work the way you work, and my work is just as valuable, and my kids don't eat gluten.
I don't watch the show.
Okay, so
back to your point, Chris.
The Fame Monster, I would say, is my favorite.
Ooh, so that's Fame Monster. That's post Monsters Ball. That's like right after Monsters Ball.
Well,
right?
Monsters Ball is not an album.
But Monsters Ball is like an era.
Tour. The Monster Ball was a tour, and that is the Fame and the Fame Monster. So there was the albums are the Fame Monster, Born This Way, Art Pop, Joanne, and then Chromatica. So the Monster Ball tour, which is iconic and is the one of the HBO special and stuff, is the Fame and the Fame Monster.
Understood. Follow-up question. Is the great tragedy of 2020 that we're not getting to enjoy this club-centric music in public? Like the fact that the Dua Lipa album that came out last year, I fucking love it. She's one of, oh my God, Be Still My Heart, Dua Lipa. The fact that I haven't been able to like go to a nightclub and just like hear those Dua Lipa.
To nightclubs?
As you said,
who you are, Mike?
As you said, Jessie, single people go to nightclubs. So
no, I didn't mean that for anybody that I know.
Listen, here's the thing. I'm very much a Jessie in I'm like, I hate the club, but every once in a while
you hit the club.
Give me some I'll hit the club.
I mean, I guess after a pandemic, I'm like, shove me in a place that's hot and sweaty and let people just touch my body.
You gotta just, kind of.
Sometimes you need that. And there is nobody that I'd rather do that to than a fucking do. Although Gaga's in there too, because there's some of these Gaga songs where I feel like I finally understood it. Like I as a single person, like I remember, so our colleague Dylan Hafer, when Dua Lipa did SNL, which was in, I don't know, like right around Christmas time. Yeah. Wasn't that long ago. He posted the thing. I didn't I knew some of her songs, but I didn't really like know her like that yet. And this is also in the midst of her becoming like a global mega superstar. But that performance, I just remember like for the first time in my life, I identified with a club song more than any, like I'm just hearing the song and I'm like, I am better off alone, and I am fixed. Like I'm good. And I just I remember like listening to it in the car when I was driving around or whatever, and I just wanted to be like on a fucking nightclub, in a nightclub alone, like with nobody around me, just like fucking dancing my ass off. And I want to get back to that. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to in the second half of the year. I will go to a fucking sweaty ass nightclub and listen to this music.
I'm excited for you.
Do you want my Molly dealer?
All right.
But listen, I feel the same way sometimes. I like to get down. But then it's like I used to, when I was like 22, 23, that was my shit. But now it's like not thinking of pandemic, I would still say every
I'm like,
6
give me
months.
a thrift store. You know what I'm saying? Get me a thrift store and I'll listen to Gaga there and I'll be like, give me that teacup.
Listen, I've done Molly in thrift stores too, and it's not the same high.
Better at a nightclub?
It's better at a nightclub.
Could have figured that.
I hear ya.
All right. Well, we're going a little more Jessie speed on this one, I think. So this is from The Verge. Apparently, Facebook is testing a video speed dating app called Sparked.
I love how that's my speed.
Okay.
Okay.
I love
You
it
post a
too.
podcast about dating, Jessie.
Yeah, it's going great. Wait, so
You just pulled the mic out of the stand like you were about to do like 20 minutes on stage. Like,
I'm about
let
to
me
do
tell you
20
guys.
Yeah. Okay.
So to give just a little background for the listener, Facebook's testing this video speeding date app. It requires a Facebook profile to create an account, which shouldn't be surprising. It's developed by the company's NPE team, which is Facebook's in-house group that works on experimental apps. So this is still kind of in beta, but The Verge, I guess, has the drop on what this thing is going to be. It promises no public profiles, no swiping, no DMs, and that it's free to use. The app will seemingly cycle people through speed video dates that last 4 minutes. It's unclear how many video dates a person will go on per event, but the app says that if you, quote, both have a great time, daters will then be scheduled for a 10-minute second date. After that point, Spark suggests that they can exchange contact information and stay in touch through Instagram, iMessage, or email. Do you like this idea overall? Let's start with you, Jessie.
Now, some of you might be saying, Jessie, have you done speed dating? Jessie, have you done virtual speed dating? And the answer to that question would be yes. Okay.
Both.
And here's the thing. Speed dating, unless this is different, is normally a different type of like desperation. Like when I went to an in-person speed dating, I actually did leave before the event because I saw people there and I said, I can't be here. I literally can't be here.
But what made you say that? Was it the caliber of people that were there? Was it the environment itself? Like, was it setting in that you were going to have these like 2-minute dates with all these
all
different
of the
people?
above?
It was all the above. It was like
Okay.
the bar was dark and scary and all the men were over 50.
They were like,
Okay.
turn down the lights. We need these men to be more appealing.
Yeah, and like sitting in a corner in a way that I said, you know what? If I just go to a bar, I'll just see hot guys there and then I'll just look at them from there.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm with you.
like I did a virtual one. It was a very similar thing. Like I did it and now the company, like once you're like, whatever you do well, they tell you about going for free all the time because like,
They probably also have way more men than women. So they like probably really want women.
yeah, exactly. But when you do it, it's like really kind of weird and creepy. And then at the end, at least when I did it, all the guys are like, I'm going to put you down, put me down. Okay. I'm going to put you down, put me down. Okay. I'm going to put you down, put me down. And you're like, okay. And then you're just like, get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Okay. So let's say, so this is kind of piggybacking. When I saw this whole thing go down, Casey Balsham, friend of mine, comedian, had this idea or something similar to this idea. I guess this is more.
She's engaged, everyone, or married.
She's married.
She's married. So let's just make sure that we know that before we hear this idea about singles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she thought that this could be like a version of Hinge that or Bumble or whatever, where you swipe on somebody like Jessie, you and I match on the dating app, and then it immedially goes into a FaceTime.
I think
Like-
that's crazy. That's psychotic.
I would throw my phone.
You wouldn't fuck with that?
First of all,
No.
you because then you're gonna match totally differently. Like I'm not gonna match with anybody I'm even a maybe because I'm like, if I go to the right and he already has, I'm about to be thrown into a chat room.
Also, so but then you would be like, okay, so I'm gonna do this. I know I'm getting thrown into a chat room. Let me get dressed up, look good. You do that, and then what if you don't make any matches? Talk about wanting to like.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That would be me. I would be like,
I still have done video dates and video chats before a lot of my dates. And like, first of all, you always got to have a time limit where you're like, we just have to talk for 20 minutes. I just want to make sure you're literally a normal human and the vibe's okay. And then like we can meet up in real life.
So then do you like this idea of doing the first short date, then the second 10-minute date on this app?
Here's the thing. I'll only do it if I know that like, that guys and like hot guys are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that guys who are socially awkward are gonna do it.
Of course.
Right. or like older, like I'm sure anyone who's like, but that's the thing, until everybody's doing it. And honestly, I don't know about you, but when you have an in-person or even a virtual call that goes badly, there's nothing more draining in the entire world.
Yeah, I would literally
Yeah.
rather have a terrible in-person
Yeah.
thing than a video. I would do it if they want a sponsor and they have money. That's how I would do
You
it.
way to go. You way to go. Yeah, I'd host the event. I'd love to host it. I'd be
I
like,
would co-host.
guys, yeah, let's get meeting each
Let's get
other
physical.
virtually. Now, remember the rules. You can't leave or go anywhere. Okay.
You're stuck
And
here.
be nice to each other. Okay.
Yeah. I think that
Would you do it, Mike?
Of course Mike would.
Wow.
I'm pretty desperate at the moment.
Why?
So
No, Mike is confident. See, this is the difference. Mike says desperate. That's confidence that you would do something like that.
that I would do something like this Facebook.
What apps are you on, Mike?
I'm on
What else
Hinge
aren't you
and
on?
Bumble.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right.
Those are
And
the
I
two
have
would
Tinder,
tell
but I
you.
never use it. I barely use Hinge at this point because I don't really think Hinge is that great, to be honest. Like,
Do you like Bumble?
lately, yeah, the last probably month to 2 months. I've met the two
Yeah, how
girls
many
that
have you met in person?
a good amount. I'd say the two girls that I've had like pseudo.
Relationships?
Yeah, because they're not really
Little.
relationships, but like I dated two different girls for probably like a month and a half a pop.
Okay.
Which has been the most promising. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's
one dumped
promising.
me,
That's
and then
promising.
the other one we kind of had like a mutual split.
Okay.
One dumped me, and then the other one we kind of had a mutual split. This poor
Yeah.
girl's still mourning.
No, I don't think
Oh.
so. Trust me, I don't think so. She's all right. But I've met both of those girls off Bumble, and then I've just had more. I think I've met up with more people from Bumble, which is crazy because at first it was the opposite. I wasn't meeting up with a lot of people. Bumble was the one that I was just like, this sucks. These girls don't message first ever. Like, so, what's the point of being here? But then it got to a point where it was like, I don't know. I don't know what changed. I don't know if my profile got better or like what the deal is.
Well,
but
I think also like the vaccine, the time of the year, like I think all of that also, I mean, because who wants to go on dates like around the holidays? You're just like, I'll see you when I see you. And then
Yeah.
Valentine's Day can be tricky. I don't know
And
about other
yeah.
people, but I'm like, I'll see you in March and April. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
February in and of itself was also pretty tough with the pandemic. But that's
Yeah.
also more the reason why I was like, please, let's go out. Please.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, I remember Valentine's Day, and not that I'm necessary. I did a little production piece on this show about Valentine's Day where I was just kind of like expressing how lonely it was. And part of it was like, it's the first Valentine's Day that I had without my ex
I'm dead.
in
Okay.
years, in like 4 years,
Wow.
almost 5 years. So
Jesse,
there was what?
Jesse and I are both like, tell us about being lonely on Valentine's Day, please.
Yeah. How did you feel?
It was amplified by the fact that at that time my roommate had COVID, so we were coming off of being like locked in for 2 weeks. So it was just lonely, and it was lonelier because like both of my roommates have girlfriends, and they were with their girlfriends, or their girlfriends were here or whatever. So it's just like that's sort of in your face, not their fault, but like it is what it is. And then on top of that, yeah, you're just like thinking about like, oh shit, this is the first time I'm not with my ex, and this is the first time, like, not only am I not with my ex, but I don't even have like a prospect because everybody's just like laying low and hanging out because it's 20 degrees outside and we can't go inside anywhere. But I don't know. I don't know that I would add another app unless, here's the thing. I think for guys, a guy is more likely to hop on an app or do, like you were talking about speed dating, how there's more guys there or whatever. I think I don't even really have a lot of single friends at this point, but let's say I had like a couple guys that I was like, they were like the guys that I went out with. They were like, all right, we're all single. Let's go out and like see if we can meet women or whatever. Like we used to when I was in my like mid 20s before everybody else became an adult. But if like 2 or 3 of those guys were like, dude, you got to get on, Sparked, or whatever the fuck this thing was called. Yeah, Sparked. You got to get on Sparked because there's so many girls and they're just like, then I think that like I would entertain it. But to just for the sake of having another app, I can't imagine just being like, oh, great, here's this.
I could be crazy, but I feel like this summer is going to be just a
fuck fest
fucking party. Yeah. Like, I don't know who is like, I mean, I'm sure like, you know, it depends, but I think that everybody's in just such a state that it's like apps are fun, but are we all just going to meet at bars? Like, cause I mean, I know people are in relationships, but also a ton of people in relationships just got out of relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. They're ending. These quarantine relationships are absolutely
they
about
are
to just
ending.
go.
People are back on the market and
Yep.
it's going to be like, I mean, I think it just is going to be bananas.
I agree. I think it's going to be nuts. And I think that that's why, like, so I have a friend who hosts the dating podcast who I was talking to about this. And she was saying in her mind, it's like if she meets somebody off the apps, they get a weekday date. They get like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Even Thursday's kind of pushing it. But you get the weekday date. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you got to leave it open just in case like you're out somewhere and you meet some, like you need those nights to socialize with your friends and go because by all accounts, now that everybody's getting vaccinated and all that stuff, it seems like we're going out again. Like
I think so. Chris is gonna go wild, right, Chris?
You know me. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement. We don't really need another dating app. Can it be topped? Can the Bumble or Tinder format really?
The reason it can't be topped is because again, that's where all the people are. So like the reason that can't be topped is like I'll join an app. Oh, you know what? I heard about this app which I actually love. It's called Thursday, and the way the app works is you can only message on Thursday. And the reason I like that is because it's like either set up a date or like don't talk to me for a week.
I'm like over all these fucking apps.
That.
It's like it's like Netflix, Hulu, and now we're popping up with Paramount Plus. Like Netflix, Hulu, here's Peacock. Like
right.
Enough.
Peacock's great for dating.
Peacock's great for dating. It's in the name. Peacock. It's what we do.
It's
Peacock around.
It's the only app that I use on a regular basis.
Hello.
All right. Last thing. We'll do it quick and then we'll get out of here. You guys have been gracious with your time and I don't want to keep you much longer. But Bethany Frankel stopped by New York Comedy Club last night to do a surprise stand-up comedy debut. I was going to say set. It was a set, but it was her stand-up comedy debut. She says it was the first time and maybe the last time she'll ever do stand-up, but she had a camera crew with her. She has a production company. But it made me wonder, Chris, I know this is a little more your expertise. Who do we think the funniest housewife is? Because I would not have guessed Bethany.
I don't think Bethany either. I mean, how many stand-ups, how many housewives are like, I'm a comedian now because people on the show say I'm funny. I guess the funniest I would have to say would be Sonia, probably, because she's just like funny without trying to be. I think the funniest, like, stand-up wise, I'm gonna stick with Sonia. I don't think any of them are that funny. None of them are like funny stand-ups, but I think Sonia is like funny.
We have no love for Teresa.
Does she do stand-up?
No. But like, I think
no, we have no love for Teresa. I have no love for Teresa. Well, Teresa's funny. Teresa's good to laugh at because she's so mean.
Okay.
But I'm on Team Jackie. Okay. So.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess Teresa can be funny, but they all can be funny. That's why we like Housewives, because they're unknowingly funny. Sonia, I think, is like kind of in on the joke. A little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Jessie hesitated.
I'm just thinking about like who could remember a script. That's my question. And right now,
we would have to go Beverly Hills because they always have the former like actors, like Lisa Rinna.
You're right.
I think Rinna could crush in stand up.
I'll agree.
Okay.
She'd memorize and she'd shimmy out. She'd be like, oh.
She's a performer. I agree.
Yeah.
She's a performer. I think she'd nail. But like, if I'm thinking about Sonia reading a script, I'm like, in what world?
That's fair. If it was a planned
Improv?
show,
Improv, Sonia would crush.
I want to see an improv scene with Sonia and Lisa.
Absolutely.
I dig it.
That's
All
what
right.
I'm talking about.
Like I said we'd make it quick. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. It was good
pleasure.
just even seeing you guys and talking to you guys because it's been a minute and I miss you both
Yeah.
very much.
Aw,
Thank you, Chris.
that's so sweet.
So plugs that I have right now. You host a show together, a podcast called Middle Children. It's a Patreon show, right? If people want to hear it, it's a Patreon show.
No, there's also a Patreon, but you guys can hear it for free wherever you listen to podcasts. And then if you still want more, you can go to patreon.com/middlechildren.
There you go. Jessie also hosts a podcast called No Such Thing as Love, which is a dating podcast. So a lot more of the meat of our conversation.
The meat. It's true.
And where can folks find you on social media? I'm assuming that realistically people are they know you more than they know me. So, but let's just throw them out there just to be safe.
You can find me at Jessie Jolles on Instagram.
And you can find me at Fat Carrie Bradshaw.
All right,
like
guys.
the character.
Well, thank you again for
But
being
fat.
here. To the listeners, thank you so much for listening. You can find me at Mike Coscarelli on all social media. You can find Ronnie Side at Ronnie Side on Instagram. And if you haven't already, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. You know the deal. No need to even really repeat it. But we appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you with more content next week. Goodbye.